Good day, it is Stephen Davids here, and in this video we will continue our series on the horizontal scrolling text in Blender, and we will more specifically focus on the formatting of the text font and the color using the materials and texture functions. So let us start then, going to the default view, and if you do not know how we get there, you can go on to previous windows and default, delete the cube. As I say, you can go then to the previous windows on how we got here from what we have, look it from the top, and Control delete, highlight the text, edit tab to edit mode, Control delete. God is good for everyone. Okay, we are going now today and focus on the materials tab to a limited extent, and also to the texture tab. And in order to know the two, there is a difference between the two. Let me explain it using the examples of a cake. You can have a cake made of sand for kids. You can have a cake of sponge, that's general, that you can put in cover it. Or you can have a more up-class cake, a fruit cake, a nice fruit cake, a chocolate cake, whatever. This is the basic material, and then you can cover it. Maybe ice cream. So on the one hand you have the material, and then you have the texture. Another example I want to use is in Blender. You can create a human figure, and that human figure can be, you can make it a flesh, cover it as flesh as that of a human being. Maybe you can cover it with plastic and make it from plastic, and that is a material you use for a doll. Or you can make it a robot. That is a material, iron and whatever. But that material then has to, perhaps, put in mind these terms, have to be covered, have a texture, have a form and feel to it. And that feel, if you make a robot, maybe you give it a human skin. If you make a human being, for example of human being, then you give it maybe a certain race or a certain ethnic group or a certain population group characteristics. That is a texture, that is a feeling. Now the same thing is happening in Blender. Blender basically is a program where you design a thing, and when you design it, you must remember, you as a designer determine, I'd have a chair, what type of chair is it? And that is a material. Then you have another thing, and that is the what do you want to put over it, and that you call then more the texture. Now in Blender there are three things you must remember, and that is namely that all objects that you create, even if it's a text, must have material. It does not necessarily need to have a texture. It may have a texture. And then also that a material and a texture can be the same. You can have a wood material or marble chair for where Lincoln is sitting, and then it can be also have a marble texture. So the material and the texture can be the same. But as a design program, you as the designer must give and input what type of material you want, and then also. So in this example of the word of the text we are using, we now go and give material to this text. Okay, and when we give material to the text, we go to the material tab button here. We hit on the button, material button, and then you hit new material. And the material, you can view it from various angles. You can view it from the surface, metal, whatever, everything has a surface. Then how it will be displayed, maybe when it is as a wire mesh. and then that object that you created must have some sort of, must consist of something. Water, ice, liquid, whatever. And it determines the volume, the matter determines how the light goes through it and what you see. And this is about volume. And then the halo is let me put a virtual object. And here you can see on the, there you have the types, and down under you can see the various ways the material will display when it is on a flat surface, when it is on a sphere, a round ball sphere, a cube, a human being, how when it is wrapped around that surface, or how it will appear maybe with strands of hair, and how it will appear in a bigger sphere with clouds like the earth. But should you have problems, this is just for the sake of interest, since we and this course, since the text has such an importance when you use it, maybe for marketing, and you can make a video completely out of text, that we focus also on that. And should you now not be sure what to do, there's a wonderful thing that while the cursor is on any of these things, you just right click, and then there, if you are online, you click there on the user online menu, and it will tell you, it will go then online. Just wait there, the computer's a little bit slow, and then you can get your online help. So the preview window is very important because it shows you exactly what is going on. At this moment in time, today we focus on the one color. If you want one color, you can use, it's suffice if you use the diffuse section here in the materials, and you just click on it. Left click on it, you get your color wheel, and you can set your color there. Okay, there it is. Left click on it, and you get your color wheel, and you can set your color, whatever color you want. And you will see here in the preview window, it shows you how that color that you selected will appear if it is a round object, on a cube, or a more object having a lot of angles and twists like the human being. On this side, you get the various models, if I put like that, the models that will show you. Why not? Let's go to the round thing, and it will show you how it will look if you have those models on the type, and how the colors will look. Toon, Orion, it's a little bit darker, slightly Lambert, a little bit lighter. How it, in terms of the light, how it will look on of the various types of object, and whatever object you are looking at, you use this diffuse shader models then to see how that thing will look. But what further is also, you can then put the intensity of the light. You can adjust it here. You can adjust it here. You can adjust it here, and then you can see. Sorry, you can adjust the intensity. Intensity, make it lighter or make it darker with things. And then whatever model you choose here, in terms of the diffuse shader model you choose here, here will come an appropriate menu down under, and the corresponding menu you can also set, and that will also then have an effect. In this way, you can then, if you select the tab, in this way you can also then see what effect it will have here also on your text that you selected. For example, click it there, you see the text change. You click there, a different diffuse shader model, and then the appropriate dialog box appear, and then you can see how it will look in the preview and how it will look in the text maps. Here at this moment in time, we worked with one color. What now to do if you want to have two colors? We had one color, we only colored the material. If we now go to the texture tab, a texture is attached to material. Click on the texture tab and then hit new. You can see there material and it's linked to a texture. Then we can decide on various textures. You can select wood, you can select marble, you can select in fact any of these types of materials, but let us select and marble, and let us stick to it. You will see then there is a texture, there's a preview window of the texture, here's a preview window of the material that we had before, and then here is the preview window where you can see both. It is very good to see both because it helps you in your decisions when you start with the formatting. Formatting the texture then gives you a nice different type. Let us go back to the wood, because the wood texture is you can more clearly see what is going on. Now in the wood texture that we selected, you can see here are two colors. The one color comes from the material. Now where does this color come from? This color, if you go down, not to the color section here, but if you go down, then you will see here at the very end, here is a color selected, and that color then is part of the minimize everything, is then that color that is there in your window, preview window. We can change this color, and you will see if we perhaps make it yellow. You can see now there the yellow changes, the blue comes from the material, the blue stays as it is. If we can make it sort of as it was, you can make the another blue, but it doesn't stand so out. Let us make it green so that it stands out, or the yellow. Okay, here you set it, and if we set here the negative, you will see then if we select negative, namely that this yellow and blue areas are being interchanged and changed. If you see now, select yellow, then instead of the blue, blue becomes yellow, and the other alternative color is selected. There you can add again. If you select stencil, then the one colors become a little bit narrower and the other one broader, as you can see there. And here then part of the coloring influence, the influence here is namely the mix. It gives you another type of how the color is basically interacting with the previous color. If you say a mix, then the color that you select here has that effect. Maybe if you put multiply, you see the color changes there. If you select, although it is yellow, it changes. If you divide, gives you another effect. To give subtract, give you another effect. To give you lighten, gives you one effect. And to see now how this changes that you in fact had done, how it appears, then you go to your rendering, your camera, how things look. Click there and then just click render, and now here it is rendered. And this is we can go back and make your changes. Go back to the material section, and here you can see perhaps how it looks on a cube surface, how it looks on the surface of with lots of changes, and a flat surface or a round surface, give me the round ball. The changes that you make here do not immediately show you. You will have to go to the display section and then render it. Come, let us, just for the argument's sake, maybe just put here value. Value totally disappears. It will show you. Just look here at the preview menu. It's not necessary that you look here because it doesn't show immediately. You will have to render it, and you will see then if you go to the camera view and if you render how it looks with the yellow different. Let's go back to the texture screen. What you will observe is that any texture that you select here, we selected here the wood, you do get a effect here, sub menu sort of section wood. If you get marble, you will see there's a marble subsection created. And if you then in fact select any one of these, sharper, just look how it affects the vision there, or sharper there. So see how it affects. Everything is different. No, it depends. And this way you then get let's make it more wood, because wood is a nice objects there. You can get the different types how the wood looks, and everything. If you select now the different types in the wood, you can see it. You can further also set the sub menu here in the type of texture that you selected. Turbulence, each one has a different influence, but most of all these influences, if we go now back to our camera and see how it is rendered, you will see it has a totally different effect there. For example, saw, hard, and whatever. Go now to the render effect, render. See the wood in the effect there. Now we get to this section here, mapping. Go to the mapping here. If you go to the mapping then connects the material that and the texture to with the text object, whatever object you have there. If you have the mapping, you go to the coordinates and gain what do you want to connect it with an object, with what type of object you want to have there, with the text objects that we created. And if you now further look into the way that you have these coordinates there, you will see you can further affect the changes and how your object ultimately look. So offset with the XY. You can play around until you have in fact what you want. And then render it to see how it will look. And so you can play around. It gives you a lot of power over how the text looks, and this is important and valuable in a situation where sometimes a short marketing video totally consist of text alone. Thank you very much for watching this video. We love constructive comments. Please like and share this video.